Today's episode is brought to you by the Campaign for Black Male Achievement. Now listen, the current political and social climates, combined with the urgent challenges that our Black men and boys are facing, demand that we act boldly right now. 25% of Black children don't graduate high school on time. Compare that to the national average of 17%. Now, if we compound the issue even further, Black male graduation rate sits at 59%. Compare that to 65% for Latino males and 80% for white males, and you realize why CBMA is a beacon of hope. They're the only organization right now making themselves available to those leaders and organizations that are on the ground, working to advance the cause and reverse this narrative for Black men and boys. If you've not yet done so, I urge you today to visit tbpod.com/partners. Learn more about the Campaign for Black Male Achievement. Consider joining their membership and investing in the future of our Black men and boys.
You're listening to the Trailblazers.fm podcast, where we'll explore the stories of today's successful Black professionals, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Join us to access the knowledge, resources, and tools of these accomplished professionals and come away with the know-how, confidence, and motivation you'll need to blaze your trail. And now, here's your host, Stephen A. Hart.
Hello, Trailblazers. Thank you for being here with me today. My name is Craig The Barber, and I am delighted to be in the presence of so many amazing listeners, such great fans of such an amazing show. A big thank you to Stephen for allowing me the opportunity to come again and be a guest on his amazing podcast, Trailblazers.fm. I thank you for this opportunity, Stephen, and I appreciate what Trailblazers.fm brings to the table, brings to so many people of color, and an opportunity to be able to get a glimpse into what can be. And I'm really appreciative of your vision and your passion for allowing this venue to grow and to really touch so many people. Once again, my name is Craig The Barber, and I was featured on episode 7, a little over 3 years ago now, March 13th, 2016. And the title of the episode, Pursuing Your Passion in Life. And it was a very fun episode because it gave me a lot of opportunity to be able to share my life's journey from leaving my career as a banker to being supported by solely my wife for quite some time in choosing to then leave the banking business and become what I currently am, is a barber, and really growing that profession to a level that has been so exciting and so enjoyable for over 12 years now. My career has taken me from working behind the chair as a barber to being a guest artist for many schools. I have been spokesperson for Lab Series Skincare for Men for 3 years. I've been spokesperson for Philips Norelco, and I am now the proud owner, founder, and CEO of my very own award-winning brand, Burke Avenue by Craig The Barber. And I'm just really happy and joyful that this career has taken me on such an amazing journey. And the root of it all is where I was able to find my passion, where I was able to see what life had in store for me just based on where I positioned myself to move forward in it. It wasn't easy, and it is never easy. Matter of fact, if it's easy, everyone would do it. It's that cliche phrase, but to be quite honest, hard work yields tough times, but also yields great times. And so with that said, I wanted to see if I could do a part 2 on where my life has come to so far, the lessons that I've learned, and why I feel it's important to share, your journey with people, with listeners such as yourselves that get it, and why I feel it's important to also look back at where you've come from to really appreciate where you are. So if Stephen would allow it, I would love to title my chapter 2, or my second opportunity to speak to so many amazing listeners, so many amazing trailblazers. I'd like to title this Finding Balance in Your Passion, because that's probably the biggest challenge many people have when they face really getting excited about their passions in life, and how to really find that balance in appreciating it for what it is, but allowing others around you to also appreciate it with you as well. Here's a thought. I really enjoy many things, and I'm sure you do as well. And when you are enjoying them, especially when you're passionate about them, there are situations where sometimes you forget to eat. Sometimes you forget people around you. Sometimes you forget to make that important phone call. That's just something that you really just are so passionate about at that point in time that nothing else matters. For folks out there that have children, just think about it when, your child is playing and you call him or her in to grab something to eat or go ahead and eat your food and they're not hungry. Why? They're not hungry because they're probably out there playing, enjoying themselves so much that they're much rather passionately play and have fun with their friends than come in and literally enjoy this thing called food that actually is the fuel that will continue to help them enjoy themselves outside. So imagine if that passion turns into a career. Imagine if you're able to successfully change your trajectory of your old career path into something that you found that is so much more joyful, so much more fulfilling for you, and you're able to convert that into a successful business. Just from firsthand experience, it's an amazing and very energizing experience. You get up in the morning and you go to work, and it's no longer called work anymore because you love it so much to the point where you look at yourself and you say, wow, I get paid for doing this thing that I love. And what is so addictive about that is that it's something that you're now nurturing and growing it like it's your child. And when you're in that position, it's very similar to the child that I spoke about earlier, that, you sometimes forget to eat. You sometimes forget the people around you and you don't notice them nearly as much because you're so enthralled by and engulfed in this position that you've created that you really love, this passion that you love, and this career that you've shaped to be something that you just see that if you just do this, if you just do that, it's going to take you here, it's going to take you there. And it's a great place to be, but it can also be a very dangerous place as well. I read a very alarming statistic not too long ago in marriage.com, and it stated that the entrepreneur divorce rate is 5 or 10% higher than the regular one. If we take that divorce rate in the United States, which is about 38%, that would mean that the entrepreneur divorce rate varies between 43 and 48%. That is 2% short of 50%. And that is pretty scary stuff. The fact that something so well intended, something that you love and that fulfills you so much could be so damaging to the people around you. And, whether you're married or not, I think you can really equate the experiences of loving something so much that neglect is placed in other areas, whether it's your child, whether it's your friendships, your relationships with your parents, and, just isolating yourself and really, really pouring yourself into this passionate career goal can be very dangerous. And it's just something that I personally have experienced on different levels. Thankfully, I have not put myself in a position of divorce. But what I think is important is that it's sometimes you need to have someone close by you that can really check you and really challenge you in the difficult things and challenge you in the areas where you really need to look at yourself and say, hey, maybe you should take a break here and there. And so I wanted to share some really, really quick things that I've personally learned through this journey and through this process that's allowed me to be really focused on my family, focused on what and how and why it's so important to raise my son in this world and raise him up to be a man, a respectful man, an ambitious man, a God-fearing man. And also on the second hand as well is to love my wife and empower her and give her all the capabilities to pursue her passions, to feel fulfilled, and allow us all to recognize that if we balance everything correctly as best that we can, we get everything that we always wanted and more. Because when you're passionate about one specific thing and you shape it into a career, and you're passionate about your wife, you're passionate about your friendships, and you're passionate about all these loving relationships that you have a very successful, ultimately very successful life and experience. And, I like to say this quote when I talk to friends of mine that, when we're born, there's a date there. And then when we pass away, there's a date there. But what's in that dash? Let's work on that dash. And I think when you find that passion and you balance it properly, that dash is extremely fulfilling for not just you, but for many other people around you. So here are 3 things that I have learned through this amazing journey of mine as I continue to grow. Here are 3 things that have really helped me to create that really sound balance that has allowed me to have happy friends, a happy wife, which, as we all know, yields to and maintains a happy life, a happy child, which will then yield to have an amazing, hopefully, father to his children in the future. Here's the first thing. Know your why. Know your why. Why are you passionate about what you're passionate about? And why do you want to make that a career? Sometimes passions should primarily just be hobbies. Sometimes passions are shaped by outside factors. It could be sometimes ego. It could be your parents shaping you or shaping your vision. It could be wanting specifically the ability to make a lot of money. You know, when you can really challenge yourself as to why you're wanting to move into this direction of a passionate career path, just make sure that you can give it a very valuable litmus test to see how much you really are passionate about it. Because this journey, and many entrepreneurs out there can speak and chime in with this or give a head nod to this, is that it's not easy. When the going gets tough, do you run away? When the going gets tough, do you grind even harder with more laser-like focus? Do you fall down and get back up quickly, or do you wallow in it and wish you never did it? You know, hey, all those things that I've done, but I've never given up. And the reason why is because I'm passionate about what I've been able to do. I see the vision that I've always wanted was to always look my best and educate men on how to look their best. I fell in love with when I gave a gentleman a haircut and I gave him a shave and I spun him around for the first time after that service, and he looks in that mirror and he lights up, and the confidence that he has just explodes. That is my addiction. That is what keeps me getting up in the morning. That is what I love to hear when someone tells me, thank you so much, Craig, for this great advice that you give me. Now I shave. I don't get these ingrown hairs. Now my skin's not dark anymore. Now my skin's not dry anymore. Thank you, Craig, for these products that you've made for us. And thank you for allowing your passion to pour into these products to really support our skincare needs. Those are the things that I am passionate about. And the ups and downs when I'm sold out or the packages come messed up or whatever it may be that causes me to really check me to see, hey man, do you still like this? Those are the things that challenge me and check me. But because I know my why, because I know why I get up in the morning and do this, I am sound with my vision. I am sound with my focus. And that is where you want to be. You never want to live your life through someone else's eyes. I shared in episode 7 how initially when I left being a banker and pursuing becoming a barber, I couldn't just be a barber, you know. I needed to be Craig the Barber. I needed to be this big celebrity barber. And the reason why was something unknown to me until years later. And it was because I was so disappointed that I didn't receive the support that I thought I was going to receive from my family at the time. You know, hey, like Stephen and myself, I'm an immigrant to this country. My parents left everything in Jamaica to come to this country, and they sacrificed a lot. They were college educated in Jamaica. They had to redo everything when they came here. And, you know, all they wanted for us as children was to have a great education and pursue a passion in a career. And when I left the banking field, where I could have quite easily, well, not easily, but really push forward and become, say, vice president or whatever it may be in that industry, for them to see that I changed my mind to become a barber was very disappointing to them. And so I didn't realize that I was making up for it and saying, hey, I'm not just a barber, which for all intents and purposes is an amazing profession. But to everyone else at that time in my life, they looked at me like I decided to step down from this high pedestal into something that was a menial task. And quite the contrary, it's an amazing and fulfilling task. But at the time, I felt like, well, hey, I'm not just going to be a barber. I'm going to be Craig the Barber. I'm going to be the most amazing, successful barber on the planet. So when a child grows up and they tell their mommy and their daddy, "Mommy, I want to be a barber when I grow up," they had this person, this figure named Craig the Barber that they can look to and say, "Hey, well, that guy, Craig the Barber, he's amazing. That's good, son. Well, that's good, daughter. Go ahead. Enjoy it. That's what you should be. You follow your passion. You cut hair." That wasn't there and that didn't exist. And so people frowned upon those technical jobs, and that technical job in particular during that period of time for me, people that were around me. And so I chased that passion that way. I chased it incorrectly. It wasn't something that I truly desired for myself. It was something that I was truly desiring for what other people were thinking. And that's not a good thing. That'll cause burnout, and that will take you to areas in your career where you will sacrifice a lot to get to where you're going. And at one point, I was not only cutting hair behind a chair, I was also writing my own blog. I was creating a product at the time. I was doing interviews. I was providing content for Men's Health Magazine, and I was doing this all by myself. And it was a grind that wasn't sustainable. And if it was sustainable, it certainly wasn't sustainable in maintaining a relationship. And at the time, I was married. Thankfully, I did not have a child at the time, because I have no idea how I would have been able to juggle that. And I think there would have been a significant amount of resentment in some way for me not to be able to pursue all those things at that time. But thankfully, I learned through this process with the loving care of my wife to say, "Hey, I'm here too." And so that allowed me to really reframe. And when my son came on, I saw the importance of making sure that I was present for him as well. Everything changed. And so finding that balance in everything across the board is far more important than the success of your career, because success is the total picture, not just one. So as I said before, the first one is literally find your why. That why will always and consistently will be the litmus test that will challenge you and check you in every way you pursue your passion. The second thing I'd like to share that I've learned through this process is it's very important to have a laser-like focus when it comes to making your passion your career, because it's very easy to find opportunities that don't necessarily connect 100% with the direction that you want to go. And as I said earlier about finding your why will be the core litmus test to the direction that you should go. And if you go out there and really dig in and work every angle, it's important to say no in certain areas where they don't quite work out, or they're not quite shaped or positioned in which direction you should be moving in. And that's very important to know. And it's very important to really check, and sometimes have a lot of people around you, or at least one person around you, to really challenge you and why you're making that decision over the other. I remember there was an interview years ago with Warren Buffett, and the interviewer asked Warren Buffett, and they asked him, he said, "How do you handle all of the requests for people to want to sit down with you, want to ask you questions?" Because, he's obviously an extremely knowledgeable gentleman when it comes to the markets and other things. And he paused for a moment and he just said, "Well, the best way to manage that is to always be comfortable with saying no." And I could not understand that initially, because at the end of the day, when you're trying to shape something that's out of nothing, you feel so inclined to say yes to everything. Because if I don't say yes here, then an opportunity may not come the next time. But what's so amazing is that the second part of his answer was that when you say no, they want you more. So when you say no, you have a second chance to say yes if it fits the litmus test, if it fits your core why. And so that's what will keep you on a path of where you should be going and not jumping back and forth. And that's a very important thing, because it will allow you to have the balance in one direction of where you should be going in. And it allows you to not struggle in other areas to overcompensate for a decision you may have made that has very little to do with what your core passion is. And then you're now having to struggle and figure out, well, how do I make this work? Because I thought it was going to work, but it's not quite the way I wanted it. And so it's important to really know where your passion lies. And it's important to always test it with every single decision you make. It'll save you so much time and energy. And then that remaining energy that you have, you can apply it to going out with your friends, taking a break from work, enjoying your family, and so on and so forth. My third recommendation is something that I've learned not too long ago, actually. And I always heard the phrase, but never really saw how I was going to be able to make that work. But it's as soon as you possibly can, find a way to staff your weaknesses. And what I mean by that is, as an entrepreneur, you're going to be wearing multiple hats, and you always will. And yeah, it's great to know all the nuances of your business. But once you get to know those nuances of those business, you want to find a way to find people that are very strong and capable of handling areas that you're not so strong at. What that does is it frees your mind to focus on the things that you're strong at. So for example, right now I have a product line and I've developed 2 products. They've done very well. The first product won Best Shaving Cream for 2017. The second product has not been submitted at this point to anywhere. They're both 5-star rated, reviewed products, and they do extremely well as far as how they perform, and they present well. Now, my skill set, as you know, is I'm a barber. I am a creative. I know what's important to go into these bottles. I know what ingredients should and should not. But I'm not that strong in areas of accounting, in areas of making sure that all of my tax papers are in order. I'm not that sharp in areas such as marketing. I know and understand where and how marketing should be done. When I see it, I know it's great, but I'm not that good at sitting down and really grinding and working out those hot button phrases and things of that nature. Those are areas that are for people that are skilled at that. I'm not that good at being organized, to be honest. So I need help from someone that is purely very organized. And that's a big deal. You can't really run a business without having organization. And so for me, I was so happy to be able to meet a gentleman that is now my business partner. And he brings a lot of the tools that I quite honestly did not have and do not have, and probably will never really be that good at. I'm familiar with them, but that's just not my area of expertise. His area of expertise is marketing. His area of expertise is knowing how to scale a business and looking at the ability and how the resources should be used. Those are areas that are only going to be able to take your business to the next level. And it's been such a refreshing situation because now I get to focus so much more on the creative aspects of Burke Avenue by Craig the Barber and just my personal brand, Craig the Barber, as well. So now I can really hone in and really get everything rolling in the right direction as far as how I function and how I could be so helpful to the brand itself by staying in my lane. And so it's important to always know that as soon as you're able to staff your weaknesses, and you know what, it doesn't mean you need to get an investor. It doesn't mean that you need to find a bunch of money to do that. There are so many college campuses that are looking for internships, students that are looking for internships that are more than willing and more than capable and so much sharper than we are in a lot of cases. And they'll jump in and help you with your business. And they get internship credit. They get opportunities to be able to really expand their knowledge base. And then you give them that opportunity as well. And in that process, you're also able to share with them your why. So then they understand the core of your business and the passion in your business. And you can check their why as to why they want to work with you, or you can check their why on maybe this particular career path for them and where they currently are with you is something that is more long-term, because why are they passionate about helping you is something that is only going to make your business better. And if they can mold and understand your why, you make a really good partnership for future opportunities down the road. So there you have it. The 3 things that I've learned in this beautiful journey of mine, with all the ups and downs that keep me going and keep me focused, is knowing your why, keeping a laser-like focus in the direction of your career, and staffing your weaknesses. Those 3 key components have helped me stay in the game, have helped me remain joyful, have helped my family be happy that daddy's home, husband's home, and it allows me to be able to go to bed at night knowing that I've accomplished as much as I can accomplish for that day, all across the board. And the bottom line is, we're only here for a short period of time in our lives, and our value is what we make it, but it's more about once you finally start looking at life and how short it is, it's also what you're able to give to others and share with others. And it's very difficult to share yourself, the knowledge you know, the love you have, if you're focused only in 1/3 or maybe even a 12th of what you have to give people. It's important for me to know that I can carry on this legacy through my son, which requires me to have time for him, to carry on love that my wife desires. It's important for her to feel that because I committed to that. And for my parents to know that their son still loves them, and I spend time to speak with them and spend time with them. And the same thing for my sister, my brother, and all of my friends, that I need to make sure that I nurture this friendship. It's important to value everything. And the only way that can be truly valued is if I make sure that my passion is balanced. So with that said, I really hope that this second chapter of this time here with you guys has been a fulfilling one. I really enjoy this podcast. I really enjoy Stephen as a dear friend of mine and a mentor. I love the nuggets he gives me whenever we chat offline. And I really enjoy where Trailblazers FM has come to. And it's just amazing how much it's really shaped me to really understand a little bit more about how I am and how I work, how I tick, and just getting the support of hearing all these stories and the relatability of all of them. And so I pray that you continue to enjoy these episodes and continue to support Trailblazers.fm, as I will continue to support as well. Again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen and to hear my part 2 on this amazing podcast called Trailblazers.fm. And if you'd like to share your thoughts, please, beyond Trailblazers.fm, of course, please share your thoughts and find me at CraigTheBarber.com or at Craig The Barber on Instagram and Facebook. And please visit my new and up-and-coming product line that is growing and is really empowering and allowing folks to look their very best. BurkeAvenue.com and at Burke Avenue on Instagram. So thank you so much again. And thank you so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day, your life, and continue to be blessed.
I'm Steve Nehart, and you've been listening to the Trailblazers.fm podcast. If you're not yet doing so, consider following Trailblazers.fm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and feel free to connect with me over on LinkedIn. Whenever you're posting stories or social media posts about Trailblazers.fm, be sure to use the hashtag TBPod and hashtag MissionFuel. We'll be able to see you, and I'll be able to show some love. And in case you're not aware, our show notes for all our episodes can be found on our website over at tbpod.com. Now, if today was your first time listening, I just want to say big ups and enough respect for checking us out. You've made this Jamaican guy really happy that you're here with us today. And I'd love your help with keeping this Black excellence flowing each and every week. So if you haven't yet subscribed, hop on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Search Trailblazers.fm and subscribe, rate, and review us there. Be sure to browse through some of our past episodes. There are more than 150 published episodes now, and a little something is out there for everyone to help keep the knowledge flowing. We grow when you, as part of our Blazer Nation community, shares and invites your friends and family to listen to an episode you think might impact them most. We believe that someone listening to these inspiring stories are going to be moved to make significant changes that have generational impact for many others, both now and well into the future. Don't miss next week's episode. New episodes are released each and every Monday morning at 5 a.m. Eastern. Blazer Nation, go out today and find a way to rise above, go way beyond, and keep blazing your trail.